Hello. Hey, Cam. Hello. Hey, Cam. Welcome, welcome. Yo, yo, yo. What's up? Good morning, lover pies. What's up? Hey. Those of you guys entering the stream, this is October right here. Just thought it was interesting how it was following this specific pattern back here. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Not a prediction or anything. Just interesting. Good evening. Alrighty. Hello, Cam. Hello, Dr. No. Hello, Chris. Hello, Danger Dan. Hello, One Timer. Hello, Fizz. Hello, Sheesh. Hello, Marcy. Hello, Brunix. Mr. Fumble. Hello. What's up, guys? How's it going? Hope you guys are having a dope ass day. Welcome to Trading with Emotions, where we like to have fun and throw elephants in the chat. Hello, Doomy's Doomed. Welcome. We're gonna have a nice little end of the day. Can't speak today. End of the day today. 3 hours. Hey, Mac and Bees. Hola, papi. Bisham. When next, Rippy? We're gonna see, man. See when the next little Rippy is. But right now, let's see. Going to intraday here. Yeah, we're looking pretty good, man. We're looking pretty good for the intraday. Hello, Fizz. Yeah. I mean, we're at a point, guys, in which Amy can't take no more. She can't be sprung. You know, you can't keep sprunging, if that's a word. This girl right here. She's had enough. Okay? So, remember, guys, the scenarios for the week. I did think we were going to have that initial, spike up to create some volatility. But I guess what they're doing right now is just really focusing on that Ivy crush. So whoever bought options for the week, they're either going to just keep on trading this sideways at that point, or we're going to get a run soon, man. And that run might create that Ivy spike on the short term, which, in my opinion, would then come back down on Friday. Just makes sense. But if they were going to make a run, man, Wednesdays are typically those days where they make these like synthetic runs and then short it on Fridays. Not financial advice, but a lot of the times you see that happen midweek. I don't know. Today looks feisty, man. Springing those sprungs. Yeah, I love that, man. Let's quote that, right? Springing those sprungs. Yeah. All right, let's go back here to main background. All right. Yeah, I'm feeling blue today, guys. Feeling blue. It's typically what I'm gonna do. Just an overall feeling in the market. I'm gonna change the backgrounds according to that. If I'm feeling blue, I'm gonna have a blue background. If I'm feeling red, I'm gonna have a red background. And if I'm feeling green, I'm gonna have a green background. So you know the drill. Red, blue, green. Hey, we'll see, man. If the next run is this month, awesome. But like I said, even if we do have a short-term run, you know, to like the $31, $32 area, I think that would be it for the month, just because of these option expirations here on the 21st. And then remember creating that leg up, projector, and then shoot up. It's typically how it goes here with Amy. What do you guys think? It look nice, right? I think it looks nice. Cool, calm, collect. Yeah, dude. That's what blue's for, man. Just chilling. Lo-fi. Floating through space. Trying to see what goes down, you know. And then when that major run comes, well, you already know. We start traveling through space. Rocketing through space. Mooning. All that jazz. Yeah, those controlled options, man. Yeah, that's how they do it. That's how they do it. Option expiration dates. Oh, why are you playing with me? Why are you playing with me? Let's see what we are looking like on the macro level. Really is a technical play, guys, in the end. You know, it really is. It's a really sketchy technical play. You know, I almost look at it in phases as to, you know, we were in this giant phase back here, this giant flag phase. Say June flag. This was like one phase. If we could just ignore this phase now and just kind of focus on the next play, which is back here, I think it would make our lives a lot easier, you know? Just not really focusing on that because, bro, I mean, we broke out of this flag. So I just don't want to really think about this anymore. I want to think about this. What the heck is this, right? And I think we would, it would make just a little bit more sense. Because you can't really do anything with this anymore. Just create fib levels if you want of, you know, points of like support and resistance as you climb up. But, you know, just on this current setup, it doesn't really matter. Virtual hugs in the chat. Yeah, virtual hugs in the chat, man. Everybody, give each other a little hug. Whoops. Koi QHU 10-20-095. You gave us a neutral, bullish, and bearish scenario earlier this week. Which of the scenarios is playing out now that it is Wednesday? So I had a basically the scenario was going to be, you know, spike up Monday, and that was if we didn't shift the algo, which means, remember, the sessions shift according to the volume happening. So I did have the suspicion that if that didn't happen, that it would be because of this spike back here, this unexpected volume that shifted over. So you can tell that the cycle is still tracking in the movements that are happening, right? But this specific pattern right here doesn't have to play out in that ratio, just because, remember, it happened back here. So if that spike didn't happen and they're still trying to keep this very neutral, they're still going to be crushing that IV, that to keep all the premium from what they sold these options at. So it's a very, very neutral week. I had said that in my case, the scenarios would have been, the bullish scenario would have been a W, which at this point is kind of hard to do, right? Just because symmetrically, on a symmetrical level, you kind of have to follow this specific pattern back here if you want to create like a W, right? You don't want to stretch it too much or else it doesn't make sense. A lot of people were thinking that we were going to do an inverse head and shoulders back over here, you know, doing something like, whoops, like that. It's going to be something like this, right? That was going to be the inverse head and shoulders, and I had said this shoulder right here is too long now. We can't just go up. It just doesn't make sense. So we're still following this wedge, right? I had said from my previous videos that I thought we were going to be in this wedge. It just makes the most sense. We're trying to crush that IV, guys. We're trying to keep all your premiums, those options. So here's the thing. If we are still tracking this specific wedge, right? My scenarios would have been, you know, come up here and then trade sideways like that to keep that premium. Which, you know, if you're able to have that margin to be able to do something like this, then that would have worked fine for you because you would have kept all this premium. Really, really shitty. But what's happening now is that we're just trading. At some point, they're gonna do a little IV spike or something and then bring it down. Or, you know, keep on trading sideways until we break out of what is this wedge right here. We have to keep an eye out for that. It's very much a possibility. And just because, remember, back here, all this shorting that they did, this right here is very important in the cycle, guys, because you have this playing out inverse at some point. You can't just short AMC, a manipulated stock with basically the shares gone, like nothing else to cover, and doing this through the option chain. You have to cover this, man. You have to cover this at some point. You're gonna see the flipped version of all this mess at some point, whether it's a month from now or 2 months from now. It's going to happen. Hey guys, don't forget to like the chat. Give it some love. Thank you, Mr. Fumble. All you do, man. I love you. Yo, 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 user. First time live stream viewer, but watched your videos. Yo, yo, yo. Thank you. Travis H. Hey, man. Much love. George. Yo, first time live too. Stuck in a flag. Yeah, stuck in a sort of wedge. In a sort of wedge. Flag. Inverse flag, you can call it. We flip it over. You know, you got your little pull right here. Whoops. You got your little pull. And your little sideways trading, right? Yeah. Now, a lot of these, when you have a bullish divergence, what happens is you get a reversal because their volume is crunching up. It's tightening so much that it is bound to just spike. You can't keep pushing it down. At some point, that volume is going to turn around, and it's going to be ugly. It's going to be a very, very drastic spike, like the previous spikes that we've seen before, right? These major spikes back here, like August 24th, July 20th. You know, all these major spikes that you see typically tend to happen when the technicals just look very, very bullish on a weaker volume stance, if that makes sense. So it's very likely, guys, at some point we're gonna get that spike. Just a matter of time. Gotta wait for the technicals. Only thing I'm gonna say though is we are currently in this wedge and we've already bounced 1, 2, 3, and I don't know, man. To me, if we don't keep going down, if we get just one more bounce, to me that's already a bullish confirmation. Because, like I said, guys, when you get that, you get triple bounce, and then the fourth one is the final bounce to the upside. If you look at it from an like a bullish standpoint, if this was inverse, what you would want to happen is you would want to get these 1, 2, 3, and then 4 would be the breakout. But if you don't get that, if you get 1, 2, 3, and then you get the fourth bounce, that typically means that you have failed to cross that support line on a obviously on our regular chart here, which means we would start to go up. So I'm kind of waiting for that to play out. You prefer to see it as a birthing from a flag. Yeah, I love that, actually. That's a good way to put it. It's like we got mommy over here and she just kind of threw up a baby, and the baby's just like chilling. It's still growing. It's still pretty young. And yeah, man, at some point she's gonna be, you know, I mean, this one was pretty old though. She's kind of young. She's gonna have maybe a younger generation child here, having a baby at like 12 or something. Boom. Boom, boom. The market. Yeah, man. Yeah, Marcy. Yes. You right. Yeah, Travis, you're right. Numbers don't lie. That's the whole reason why this play is so interesting to us. Yeah, much love to all the teenage moms. Now, this is in no way am I trying to disgrace anybody or it's super cool. I mean, this would be awesome, you know, like give us a little child right now and let's boom, right? No, I don't have a bear stance. Georgie. I look at it from both angles. I'm a very, very neutral trader in the sense that I look at both sides. But I've been on AMC, man, for forever. I've been on AMC since back here, and I've always had a bullish stance. My conviction doesn't change in that sense. I don't think we're gonna just like crash down to a penny. I'm not that skewed. I'm definitely more looking at this from the upside, right? I think that just the community itself just proves that over and over and over again. The amount of people that are still in this, that are still like talking about this, like just shows me that there's so much potential here, and it's likely to make that, you know, reverse at some point. So very, very bullish. Yeah, so when I flipped it, dude, it might have seemed like a bearish scenario because I flipped it. You know, I went like this. Oh, yep, didn't mean to do that. So I went like this, right? And to you guys, it might have looked bearish because I don't know. Maybe you thought this was like like the 10-minute chart or something. But this is the 2-hour chart, and on a long term or a macro level, this is obviously bullish. It's just the inverse chart. So sorry if I confused anybody that just came in. In AMC's first run, we broke out of a strong trend. Everyone failed out the bottom and ran. Most importantly, broke out a strong trend line. Yeah, on the back here. Yep. So the price levels are different, but so it is like I tried explaining this to on Discord the other day. A lot of people think that we're back here, and there is a possibility that we're back here, depending on how these institutions want to be controlling this price, right? But you have to remember, we need volume in this. I strongly believe that. I believe that retail has to come in, shorts have to basically get beat up along the way. to cover positions, causing this FOMO to kick in and then helping the price move up. I don't think just institutions can just do that unless the shorts just decided to, just cover all their shares for absolutely no reason. But in my opinion, there clearly is a reason behind their thinking that they want to bring this down to a penny, because if that wasn't the case, guys, they would have covered a long time ago. Or they would have covered right here, right? I still think that they're trying to push this down. So that's why I believe that we need volume. We need volume for this. But yeah, back to your point, man. I had said that, and I was like, so this is the thing. We're dealing in different price ranges. This is a lot more attractive to a retail trader when you're buying it at $1.90. Or back here when you're buying it at $9 versus, right, $22. It's the same thing with GameStop. You see a lot less volume coming in because of the price. So it's a different story, and sometimes the technicals have to just set up a little bit better so that the FOMO kicks in at a very specific point, rather than just being at, a more of a double bottom scenario that might last a couple days, whereas this might last, a couple weeks, just because the price on the macro level just looks a lot different. So it's something to keep an eye out for sure. Travis H, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Isn't this a descending triangle? Those break to the downside. No, so the thing is, it depends on the divergence, and the way you read the divergence is typically with the volume coming in. So if you, let's see, pull up the volume here. I don't know if I have the indicator on. Let's see. So bullish divergence is basically a decreasing volume as the wedge is playing out, right? And this isn't a confirmation of a descending wedge, because it's in a double bottom setup, which means that it could be a very flat wedge, which you can't really pick the side. And this is why it was strategically put here. It didn't do this, bro. It didn't do that. It's strategically put in place because now you create two scenarios. You have a double bottom, in which could turn out to be, right, a W, which we don't know if that's going to play out yet, because this cup right here, and the W is starting to get a little bit larger. But this can turn into a wedge as well, and it doesn't have to be a descending or ascending wedge. It's a neutral wedge, because these are basically the same points, double bottom points. And yeah, it's a little bit hard to tell whether the divergence is in our favor, but this seems to be very, descending in the volume, which means that this is a bullish thing, because the volume is dying out as the wedge is closing out. That's always a bullish sign. Hey, if I flipped it upside down, it kind of looks like AMC OBV. Let's see. Bring this up here real quick. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, kind of does. Kind of does. The OBV is very important as to not specifically the levels that they're in. The levels don't matter. And you guys probably know this. I'm just saying it for the people in the chat that don't know. The importance of the OBV, on balance volume, is the way you study its direction. When the direction starts to change, that's when it's important to look at. Not necessarily the actual volume, right? Because it's always going to be different depending on where you are. Yo. Who's left to FOMO buy? I mean, it's going to be anybody that comes in, whatever retail that wants to come in the future, whether you're holding or not, it's new retail that comes in or current retail that comes in and starts to, throw in their money on this. That would be like FOMO buying, depending on a news catalyst or something is going to trigger that once that setup is ready and good to go. Let's see. Who's left to smart ones will look. So that's the thing, man. There's definitely controversy in the community about this. Like, anybody could, like, if you really think about it, you're like, how are these shorts like still in this position? Like, don't they know that they're screwed, right? Well, they don't really know that. They really think that they can bring this down, and they're trying really hard to do so. But you have to think about it this way. Because there's multiple ways you can think about this, man. What the white coffeeans think, and this is a really good point on their end, and I even have a really hard time trying to sort of understand this on just like a technical level and just the way it makes sense, right? But what happens is that they think there's a composite woman, is what they refer to as her, which is this larger bullish institution that has a lot of AMC shares. And what they're trying to do is basically play this game along the way, like a puppet show, is what I said yesterday. And just basically control the price however they can, prolonging this in technical setups that make sense to retail, basically playing around with the shorts, the over-leveraged shorts that are so screwed. And they're just like basically like making fun of them along the way. Like they're playing with them. And the shorts are like, damn, like I don't know what to do. Like maybe I should start, going short on other positions or going long on other positions and try and get some money along the way if they're just going to keep doing this for us. Because like if it was for the shorts and they were trying to keep this down, I feel like they would have already failed to do so, especially if the long institutions started just going long, like very, very, very fast and quick. That would be an ultimate trigger. But that's not the case. I feel like they think they can make more money along the way. And you guys have to think, guys, these hedge funds and larger institutions, they're very patient in the way they make money. It isn't like a retail thought process. It's a very, on a macro thought process, you think years ahead or decades ahead, How am I going to be first in the future? How am I going to win this race? And yeah, guys, it's typically how it goes with these funds, man. Like they're playing the show. It's all a show. If you guys watch my song, the next show, that's basically all it talks about. It talks about how we were in this giant flag and how we were waiting for the next show. It's just the manipulation of this price action all has to do with who's controlling it and how they're putting on this giant show of just constant, constant technicals that are failing and manipulating us, and then also manipulating the shorts and all these other positions. So yeah, it's a interesting process. Chris, did you see yesterday's 1 minute chart was the same fractal as? Yeah, man. Yeah, I think I saw that you were talking about this giant 1 minute. So I have a theory on this as well, guys. I was gonna post a video, but before I'm gonna do a video on this, just specifically on this, maybe post it later this week. But before I did cycles, I was doing a lot of day-to-day fractals on how things repeat themselves, right? One of the first things I did, because I was very patient with this, man, and I was like, you know what, I can't believe they took us down here, and now we're creating this thing back here, dude. This is really, really interesting. But back here, this pattern right here is literally a reflection of the green pattern, the projector. And this caught my eye back in the day, because that basically that scanning tool I had wasn't available to me. So I wasn't able to find these patterns that were repeating themselves consistently. So what I did was I literally calculated basically the ratios in between the price action and the time according to these two patterns. And I mean, if you just take the bars pattern back here, you will see that it's the exact same. Here. So this pattern right here. This, in its own way, guys, was the same pattern, okay? And I was like very, very interested in this because I was like, dude, maybe this is a way that I can, like, you know, come up with the next I can predict this and come up with the next move or whatever. But this is the thing with fractals, you may have a pattern play out the same, and then towards the end of it, play out completely different. And a prime example of that was here. That's why I stopped doing fractals and trying to predict the price action according to fractals. Because yeah, you can find the same exact fractal on a macro level. And you know what this would have told me, man? This would have told me that we were going to come up, that we were going to squeeze back here, right? It would have told me that we were going to squeeze back here. If you put too much faith in that, you rely so much on these patterns, even though they're playing out in that way. And sometimes, I mean, like even down here, like look at this price action, right? This is where it failed you. And then you start to go down instead, and you start to second guess yourself. Like, dude, I did all this work for nothing. And that's the thing about fractals, is that they will repeat themselves, yes, but at some point it's going to fail you. So this is exactly why, guys, I don't do that anymore. The only reason why, because I'm telling you, I remember doing this, and I can pull up the math at some point. I'll pull up the math and show you guys exactly how I did this. But it failed me, and I stopped following it, and I started doing other stuff. That's where I came up with the time series scanner, and we found the blue patterns and the projectors that are repeating themselves exactly 2 months apart. So this is it has to be a time series with a neutralized neutralized time zone, not time zone, I'm sorry, neutralized frequency, which means that it has to repeat itself exactly 2 months apart. And the only way that makes sense is according to the option expiration dates. Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm just you know, looking at it from that perspective, just really hit something, guys. And because I was excited, one of the best plays that I ever did was, and some of you are gonna look at this like, oh, like, I mean, that's kind of weird that you think that, but I was able to basically this pattern right here that played out to the downside. I was able to predict this exact move, this literally exact movement down here for like a week or two, because of this specific pattern back here. And I was so excited, man. I was so excited about that. Because I was like, dude, if that's the case, then we're going to squeeze soon. Like, there's, like, even if we go down, we're going to squeeze because, like, this fractal said so. And it just didn't play out, man. And I was so upset. I was so upset, bro. Look at that. Look at those movements. They line up, like, almost perfectly. And that's the thing about fractals. They're not perfect, but they do show basically the way. But remember, at some point, guys, that is going to fail you. Fractals are not meant to just predict the future exactly the way it aligns. So I'm sure if you go in depth on all of these macro level fractals and do the math for them, you will find them in the future in some sort of way. It's just, you can't rely too much on them. Yeah, what's up, guys? Everybody that just came in, hello. Samir, yeah, thank you, man. Thank you for that. Appreciate you. It's very sweet of you. I'll be posting a video for sure about it at some point in the near future. That's something I've been wanting to talk about, just to kind of spread awareness into that, just because it's something that does make sense, like on a technical level. If you think about it, fractals and the way they form on a larger scale, on a technical setup, you can apply like Wyckoff theory to this and stuff too. That is something traders would normally look at, right? This giant flag and this wedge and this W, all that, it has to do with the fractals. But fractals are not going to predict any price movement. It like I said, at some point it will fail, and it's, I don't know, it's, a lot of people rely on that stuff, man. You know. So yeah, Chris, man, the 2 months is very significant because, so if you have to think of quadruple witching dates, which are the option expiration dates with the most amount of options, right? So according to these option expiration dates, these major option expiration dates, quadruple witching happens 4 times a year. So if you really think about it from that perspective, this cycle runs every 2 months, right? Even though it runs every 2 months, there is the way it's played out, strategically played out in that sense, has to do a lot with the technicals that they're able to basically provide on the long term, but then also change up the algorithm into another technical. So I think options, technicals, and options and technicals are basically the most important thing when it comes to the cycle, because it's not that we have to look at the technicals and be like, all right, this is what's going to happen, because I think that there's more emotions that are being manipulated through like the technicals, which is like a more emotional thing, a more manipulative emotional thing, rather than actually looking at like a blue chip stock, right? And saying that, oh, this is a good entry point because it's a blue chip stock, right? It's not being manipulated like AMC. So it's just a way they're able to manipulate the price action. But the 2 month thing is very, very important, because we can see these patterns repeat themselves in a very specific way, and they line up every single 62 days, which is not something that I've seen before. It's just, I've never seen that, man. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. A prime example of this, guys, is, you guys remember DWAC, right? That stock that ran up literally in like 2 days to like, what, like 175 or something, or like 3 days, 175. Just think about this for 1 second, okay? They ran this stock up. Whether it was a distraction or not, it doesn't matter. The stock ran up, and it ran up a lot, okay? AMC didn't even do that with the amount of volume that came in. There was way more volume that came in on AMC. The reason for that is because AMC already had options, okay? And that's where most of the money lies in, options, not the shares. It's the options are where the money's at, the big money. DWAC didn't have options. So obviously it's going to be easier to run that all the way up, man, to 175. It's just, it's the way it works. But now get this. This is where it gets really, really interesting, right? What happens after you run it up back here? Well, this is what they do. And this is like I'm not going to cuss, but this is just like the crappiest thing that they could do, is add options at the freaking top. And that's exactly what they did with DWAC. They added options once it was like at 175. They brought it back down, added options, everybody bought those, and then they shorted it all the way down. It's just a cycle of manipulation in the way these guys are able to make that money and basically distract retail from going into other places as well. or at least to distract the meme community. Because remember, if you guys have a certain amount of money, you will obviously want to go in on a specific play, right? And that specific play, whether it's GameStop, AMC, whatever, something is going to cause that reaction to happen with these meme stocks. But if you believe that there is volume needed to bring the price up, then clearly manipulating other stocks is going to affect the price. It's going to decrease the volume coming in because retail is focused on another stock. It's the people that, like, personally, guys, the only reason I believe that is because, like I said, we need FOMO, we need volume to kickstart this ripple effect, and that's going to be with the shorts covering, the smaller hedge funds covering, and then FOMO coming in through catalyst when the technicals are ready, and then boom boom candles. Let's see. Well, I have to check him out. W Black, I'll have to check him out, man. That sounds interesting. Travis H, have you noticed the patterns being inverse versus upright? After 3 inverse iterations, we can expect an upright iteration. Let's see. I'll have to come back to you, my guy. Unless I'm trying to see if I can maybe understand. Maybe I don't understand it quite well. What you mean by that? But if you maybe put it another way, I can probably see what you mean. Sub the Haas, hello, man. Welcome. Thank you for moderating. Love you, man. You kissed Lily. Okay, so you agree about options. So why don't you think we're gonna run late? Okay, so just because. The thing about options is that you have to think about it this way. When we ran up back here, okay, the options that we had available to us were not the same as what we have right now. And when you have a sort of gamma effect happen, when these options have to be hedged for and they have to buy those options, you have to have some in the money, right? There has to be a lot in the money. And the problem right now is that there's a lot of options out of the money. It's like a 1-to-5 ratio. If you think about it from like an institutional perspective or a hedge fund perspective, whoever's controlling the price, if they're not long right now, that's not something we know. If they're not long, then why would they decide to cover right now if there's so much out of the money and they have so much premium that they're going to keep from what they sold? They're going to be making money off of that. So if they can prolong it a little bit more with the setup, then they're not going to run it up right now because they're probably not long. This is why it's important, guys, that most people understand this. That there's a lot of people that think we're going to run up on January 21st. Personally, I don't think that's going to happen, and this is not me giving you guys financial advice or even trying to. I'm not the hype dude on the markets here, guys. I'm telling you straight up how I've experienced AMC, how I was able to come up with basically the strategy to have this thing happen. For those of you who don't know, I did a lot of technical analysis on AMC before we had this run up back here, and I took it off based off of the technical levels like Fibonacci levels, and I was able to come up with a really, really good, very, very close actually way to predict this price action happening back here, which was nice. I have the same conviction about this. Okay, I think that even though we're in this nice setup, and even though we broke out of this flag, I just don't believe that we're gonna go up in a straight line like that, because it just doesn't make sense. It makes no sense from an institutional perspective. It just makes no sense that we go up in a straight line, especially if these hedge funds like I said, guys, they're trying to make as much money as possible. They're also going to need the help of retail with that. They can't do it alone. They don't have all the money in the world to just be able to bring this all the way up with the risk tolerance they have, because whoever's controlling the price, guys, they're also short AMC. Believe it or not, they're short and long AMC, and they cannot risk the infinite risk of shorting versus the just 100% risk of going long, right? You can lose all your money, sure, if it goes to a penny, but if this goes to 1,000,000 or 1,000 or whatever, you can short and you can lose infinite amounts of money. So that's why I just don't think that, I mean, we don't even have a projector set up right now, and we have had a projector set up all 3 runs in the past. 1, 2, 3. All of these have had that projector set up. And I'm going to say this again, guys. I'm going to show you so you guys understand what I mean by this. 1, 2, 3. You find the projector. Where's the projector at, guys? There it is. So I don't think that if the current setup that we're in right now, we're in this setup, right? So we went down and we're like trading like that. Where did any of these right here have a very short downturn like that to where they just went up like that? No, none of these did. These were all trading sideways for a while, and they had a setup before they came up here. Same with January. Even January was like that. It still had some sort of setup back here, and then that projector. The projector is what basically comes up, checks the volume, and then is able to bring it all the way up. Okay? This is extremely, extremely important when you get these run-ups. Every single run-up that I've seen in the past has a projector, unless you have a stock that doesn't have an option chain and they don't follow like fundamental or technical analysis on that level, then okay, whatever. But AMC is not that case. AMC is a option chain stock. It's heavily manipulated in that sense, and it would not make sense for it to just boom up in a straight line. It just doesn't make any sense. I'll give you guys a prime example of this is Lucid. And this goes again, guys, with AMC. Can you find the projector? This one has two little checks. On a macro level, you have this projector right here, and on a micro level, you have this projector right here. And they're both little projectors. Or I'm sorry, this one's a little projector. This is a big projector. Depends on the setup, but you have that before you start to run up. You don't just see a straight line up, right? You see a tiny projector happen. Same thing with AMC, guys. If you believe that AMC is just going to go straight up, I'm just here to try and explain to you guys how I've seen things happen from my perspective, and I don't want anybody to be losing money because somebody said that we were going to go up in a straight line. Okay, so I guess from a technical perspective, maybe some of you are wondering, how are we going to get this projector, right? Okay, well, I can show you that. I can show you the scenarios as to how we can get a projector, right? So, yesterday I came up with basically an idea of basically taking all of these patterns and coming up with maybe a scenario, if you will, not a prediction at all, just a scenario as to how this specific pattern that's playing back here, this wedge, how we can break out of the wedge, create support up here, and then start creating that projector pattern, right? And running up. And how I did this was I called this basically the squeeze scenario with through like the option chain is what I called it. So if we apply that back here, this is just me taking fib levels and taking basically everything according to options, according to the patterns that are being found. And this is what I created. And this doesn't mean that we're going to come up here. So chill out, okay? This is a breakout, okay? This is a breakout of the wedge that we're in right now. Okay? We break out. If we don't keep going down and we break out and we bounce off again of this resistance line off of this wedge, that's already a bullish sign. We start to climb up in ladders. Just like GameStop did, guys. We were climbing up in ladders like that, okay? What happens here is now you have support at around the $30 level, and then we bounce to the $40 level, coming back down, establishing more support. This would make sense on a fib level and on an option level, because if you run this up ends of February, and you could bring it back down again. If you are this composite woman and you think you can prolong the squeeze even more, you would be able to bring this down and basically do this whole cycle thing again until, right, the option expiration dates, the quadruple witching dates that end March 18th, right? This is a major, major quadruple witching day. So if institutions want to prolong this again, which I'm not saying that's going to happen, this doesn't even have to happen. If this just starts climbing up and they lose control and they start taking every short position out, obviously this is going to go way up. This is a scenario taken off of fib levels according to the past. So I don't want anybody in the chat telling me that, oh, we're only going to 250. No, this is fib levels, guys. Sometimes you got to do that, chat. But this would be a scenario based off of the setup that we're currently in. How we're slowly climbing up to almost create this like cup, right? And a very, 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 very small handle. And how I did this, guys, again, is through the technicals of it, breaking out of the technicals, applying the projector theory, and then as well looking at the option expiration dates for them to be able to hedge it and bring it back down, right? What happens here is you're able to bring it all the way up to your levels that you want to bring it up to if you have that money, and then you create these $500 and I don't know $60 contracts, high premium, and then everybody buys these contracts and then they short it back down. They keep all the premium until this date right here, which is March 18th. Once they have all these premiums, they're going to continue to do this. I don't know, bring it up more, blah, blah, blah. See what happens. This is typically how they do it, guys. How they're able to keep this money. Endless monies coming in from retail buying these options. Yo. Anybody in the chat, welcome. Anybody just coming in, guys, this is not a squeeze prediction at all. So please rewind the video if you want to see what I'm talking about. Let's take this guy out now. We'll be posting about him later because I definitely want to post about this just so people understand that we don't just go up in a straight line, okay? I don't want you guys to feel like, you know, like to feel bummed out or anything. Like if somebody told you that we were going to do this, I'm not saying that's impossible. Obviously, like if the institutions want to do this, then so be it. If they want to cover right here and they want to do that, so be it. Okay. I'm just saying from a technical level, a market level perspective, being safe with it, that doesn't really happen. You really have to set up for these plays, guys. My name is Pink. Yo, what's up? So the 3-day weekend is just it in a way the way they've been doing this. There's multiple reasons for it. A lot of people think like, oh, it's a 3-day weekend, like people aren't going to be focused on the stock or whatever. I don't think that's their mentality when it comes to that. I think they're able to buy themselves an extra day according to these options in the way the options are decaying in their obviously in their theta, so they're able to buy themselves a little bit more time to remember all of this is strategically put in place, so they're going to do this as much as they can to get the best buck for it. It's like it's very, very much put in place, and these dates are very, very strategic in the way they're doing this. Let's take away these guys right here. If you guys haven't already, make sure you leave the man a like. I appreciate you. I love you, man. Kissy kiss. Can they hide call options like they hide buy orders? It's harder to do that because when you're selling these options, dude, it's you're basically selling it to retail most of the time. That's a big number of where these monies are going in, man, because you have to think about it this way. The people that are writing these options are the market makers, which are these institutions, these either long or short institutions. They're the ones providing the liquidity for the options. So it wouldn't necessarily benefit them to hide these orders, because you want retail to know that there's all these options in the money or out of the money at these specific days, because you want them to buy. You want them to buy because you believe, as a call option writer or provider, that the price is not going to reach that specific price, right? Like when these market makers write these options and they're selling these options, these really, really, really high options, they're betting against you. They think, no way this is going to 145. So I'm going to write these premiums or these options and sell you all these at really high premiums so that you buy them, because I don't believe that it's going to go to that price. That's their thought process. And a lot of retail is against that. They think, no, this is definitely going to go to 145, and they buy those options. And it's it's just a 1v1 sort of deal. I don't want straight up slow climb. I mean, that's the thing, man. It's not that it's going to be a slow climb on the long term, but on the short term, you have to think like it's what's the most likely scenario, right? Like you need to create some sort of resistance before you go up. That was really ugly. So, like you have to create support and resistance along the way in order to go up. It's not just, that just, what is that? It was a scenario that I came up with according to, remember, I put everything in place. I put the patterns in there. I didn't just take one bar's pattern. I didn't just do this, bro. I didn't just take this one pattern and then, put it over here or anything. I literally went into every specific pattern and drew this entire thing. I took what was the projector here, back here. I applied it right here. And then this started to go up slowly. Inverse patterns right here according to the dates. And then this obviously was also aligning with the blue pattern, which would make sense. That would eventually just not be able to handle the volume coming in with, and then these institutions would say, okay, like algorithm cannot take this volume anymore. We have to go long now. Yo. Yeah, Rico's on vacation with his girl. He's chilling, having a good time. Props to that dude, man. He's gotta, you know. We also have things to do at our specific days, but when we can, you know, we're here chilling with you guys because that's what we do. We love you. It's poison art, man. It's spreading awareness in that. Okay, we know, if I know that something here is happening on a cyclical level, I think it's important that other people know that too, and put their input on it, right? And try and understand what's happening. If people don't understand what's happening, then they're missing the point of this whole entire movement. Is that if you want the system to change, if you want people to understand how things are being manipulated, don't you want people to understand your narrative and what it is that you're pushing out? This isn't about, oh, let's just hold and wait and forget about what's happening. It's because in the end, sure, if we squeeze and we get all our money and everybody gets paid and everybody just forgets about what's happening in the system, then we have failed to do what was the primary objective here, which was like exposing the truth, man. Like the whole movement should be about exposing the truth. It should not just be about we're gonna squeeze and then get our money and then buy, you know, like peace out, or else nothing's gonna change, dude. I love you though. Yeah, do me a favor, man. Go watch all the videos that I've posted out. It just tells you exactly how this whole thing is being manipulated. Obviously through my lens, right? Because I'm telling you my perspective, and if you agree with it, great. If you don't, then great. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything about that. I'm just saying it's a very interesting way to look at it because things are happening in frequency and repetition. Elephants in the chat, huh? Yeah, elephants in the chat, baby. Let's see what's happening intraday. Nothing much. Me just trading sideways. What you doing, Amy? She's playing with us again today. Play some sick songs. Yeah, man. So I'm trying to avoid the YouTube strike thing policy. I can probably play some of mine just because they won't. They don't get nothing on me with that. But right now it seems like they don't like it when I play Spotify playlists. They start to get angry at me. I mean, we can switch it up a little bit. I can maybe in like 5 minutes I'll start to play just some of the I'll create a little playlist here, stuff that I have, so they don't, well, like I said, yell at me. Be like, hey, bro, what are you doing? Why are you playing all these songs? I'm not even monetizing these videos, bro. What do you mean? Well, I appreciate you, man. You're sweet. Penn Willie, I personally don't think so. I think that's been one of those ideas that's been pushed out so that people understand, like, hey, we are going to squeeze before the 1 year because the government wants to take your money. No. I think that AMC is not the only play in the world. I think that there's a lot more money to be made on other plays, and the government's not going to just wait and spend to to get your capital gains off of AMC, because ultimately once it squeezes, great, like people are going to make money, but I don't think that's the objective. And that is too, in my opinion, it's too predictable to a point of like where reverse psychology comes in, where people start believing that, oh, like we squeezed, you know, the first time we squeezed was back here in January, so that means that we're going to squeeze next year in January. It's just like the ultimate like reverse psychology play. Yo, what's up? Have I seen... You did, man? Craig? You sent me a DM? Whoops, I haven't read my DMs in a little while. Whoopsies. Sorry. Oh, yeah. My bad, bro. Yeah. What, like for AMC? They released the 2008? Really? Well, I mean, I think it's always... Hasn't it always been out, though? Or no? Or am I tripping? Or has it only been through... It's not here, though. 2013. I mean, I don't know, man. I got TradingView Pro Plus. I'm sorry. I got TradingView Pro Plus. So I don't know. I don't really think premium is like important but I feel like the gamma squeeze and hypersimultaneity. I have TradingView Pro Plus, man, and I still can't see it. That's above TradingView Pro. See? Pro Plus. Yeah, I don't know why I can't see it, man. It's weird. I kind of want to know how you did that. I'm interested now. Let's see. Craig. Were you looking at it on the on like the weekly or something, or what the heck? Interesting. Yeah, I've seen the DM. I just pulled it up, dude. It's just weird that I can't pull it up, because I mean, I have, like I said, I have TradingView. I have TradingView Pro Plus, and it's still not letting me. Oh, whoa. Okay, never mind. What the heck? Okay, okay, so hey, Chris, what exactly is your question here, man? Just so I can answer that for you. What do you mean by, like, I know that this is the 2008 chart now, but like, what do you mean by that? I got it, bro. I got the 2008 chart. Just I'm not sure what see how similar it is. TradingView allows to go back as 2008. Yeah, so I got the 2008 chart here, and then you look at the chart and see how similar it is to the overall fractal. We have now everything to the left, 2008. This whole thing? Until what time frame, man? Or how long do you want me to scan it for? I'll do that. I don't know. Whoa, this is 2004 though. Like 2006 or what? 2006? I'm gonna do 2006. We'll do 2 years. October 15, just to kind of stay on track here. We'll do 2 years. Let's see how we can. Yeah, I'll let you send me that sketch, man. I didn't even, it's weird. I just saw that Twitter. My bad, dude. So, yeah, apparently this is 2008 right here. From what Craig, from what Craig Anthony is saying is that this is a 2008 pattern. So we'll get back into that and see what he has to say about it. Well, it seems like from what he scanned here. So this is 2006 through 2008. So it's a 2-year pattern, and obviously, like 2006, you know, there was the crash didn't happen until 2007, and that's where it started to really kick down. And like this is, I think, the beginning of 2007, if I'm not mistaken. And then from there, it just started to kind of go down until 2008, where in 2009 when it basically was already at its lows. Now, obviously, right now we're at no. Oh yeah, ugly red what happened? Let's see, intraday AMC. Somebody just said ugly red candle. Oh, Amy, what the heck, dude? Yeah, we haven't played the elephant song today because Amy's just being a bad. She's being a bad girl. I don't know why you're doing that, bro. Why are you doing that to me? Alright, let's see. I mean, guys, like I said, it's Ivy Crush week. They're definitely trading this sideways. Like, this is insane that they're actually doing this. Yeah, I would not be surprised if we're just in this giant freaking wedge right now. Just chilling, bro. Just like waiting for them to just, I don't know, pop this at some point. But I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe tomorrow might be that point here. You can even go all the way down here and sort of create this larger wedge here on the I don't know, on the larger scale. Yeah. And then on the shorter scale, you still have your little wedge back here. There's a lot of different ways you can look at this too. Man, I hate candles. I don't know. I'm so picky about candles, dude. I think just the overall moving average gives you a little bit more, just more, you know, average, man. Like where you can draw these lines and stuff. Candles are just like, they're icky. Very, very OCD about it. Yo. I don't know, man. You could really look at it in all these ways to even like something like that. I don't know. Could be a regression trend as well. Typically, the way it works is just bouncing off of these like resistance and support lines. They seem to be getting a bounce right now, though. Is what is happening. Yeah, we're getting a bounce. It was like almost like a fake out. All right, let's get these lines out of the way. Ugly lines. Yeah, AMC is on the micro. Just she's not that pretty on the micro. What is this? I mean, she's beautiful. She's always beautiful. But man, on the micro, like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Interesting. 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 Imagine. Oh, okay, okay. I see what you're saying, Chris. Okay. Yeah, so it's just real quick. Go back here just to go over this again. I see what you're saying, Chris. Or Chris, man, I keep calling you Chris. Craig. I'm sorry, bro. I guess I'll put my input on that just real quick just to clear some stuff. So I saw what you sent me, this whole thing, right, of us being here. Let me pull it up again. Where you started. Did you start around here somewhere? Right here or what? I don't know. I'm gonna pull it up from here to here or something. So, okay, just one thing to note, man. This, since they, like, this is not a specific event or anything in which the price went up. This is just a shift in the years. So here's 2008, and then you shift over, and they skip 5 years. So they have 2008 data, but the price changed drastically from 2008 to 2013, right? So there's 5 years of volume here. So this is not like a one-day occurrence. This didn't shoot up or anything in one day. So I see what you're saying, but maybe what would make more sense is to apply some of the fractals that happen back here if they do line up, just not specifically this fractal, if that makes sense, man. Armando, that would be insane, brother. If that did happen, that would just be another level of what the hell. I don't know. Like I said, guys, very, very, very crucial week here for the end of the cycle. Obviously, the end of the cycle is coming up. Very, very interesting week. Very, very sideways. Craig? Okay. Yeah, for sure. It definitely is an interesting perspective that you mentioned there, for sure. Okay, I see what you're saying more. It's the basically the fractal that you pointed out it's like an interesting fractal in the way that it looks the same. I don't know if you were here earlier for that. I'm gonna pull it up anyways to show everybody what Craig means, just so he gets his point across, because just so we understand it from that, right? We don't want anybody like misunderstanding the situation here. I'm gonna pull it up anyways, just for you, buddy. So what he's saying is that not necessarily the fact that these change, 5 years and boom, like we go up. I think what he's trying to say is that something, or like this pattern itself, looks very similar to the setup that we have, but not right, because this is 5 years apart. So this lineup would not make sense, like, whatsoever. But what he's saying is that the patterns that happened before that are interesting to look at when it comes to the current setup that we're currently in, right? I don't want anybody taking this like anybody coming in, please rewind the video for like 5 seconds. Understand this is not what we're saying is going to happen at all. Like this, I see what you're saying. I see exactly what you're saying. The setup looks very similar in that they have, you know, these specific things happen, but this is a drastic shift in 5 years, which it would be a straight line up, and in my opinion, something like that wouldn't happen, just because a little bit earlier I talked about how and that's, dude, Craig, that's a interesting find that you got there, buddy. Like it's Craig, but like I said, man, I've already pushed out the just so people don't get the wrong idea that I'd never would think that we would go up like that. I think we would climb up and create that projector pattern and then climb up, right? Not just go straight up. The fractals that you find, if you weren't here earlier for that, Craig, I talked about how I used to do like fractal findings in the way that I found this specific pattern repeating itself on a smaller scale back here. So this was one of the first things I did before I found this cycle. And the reason why I stopped doing this was because this pattern looked extremely similar to me, right? On a fractal level, this pattern was the same. The only problem with that is that it failed me when the fractal completes itself, right? Because at some point that fractal fails you. And this is what happened, right? I got excited, I got the ratios right, I got the math right, everything was lining up, right? And then it got to that point where, you know, you come back here, the fractal looks the same, right? Everything looks the same, and like it's gonna play out for you, and then it doesn't, right? It shifts, it inverse flips, and then it goes down. And then that's where you get kind of like, what the heck, man? Like, what just happened? Like, why did I lose all my money here? Because things didn't play out how the fractal said they would play out. So fractals are good in the sense that they can basically give you a scenario as to how something could play out, but they're not firm in the way that they predict the price action, right? It could happen for a week or 2 or 3 or a month, sure, or in the short term as well, but not to predict like major squeezes or stuff like that. So yeah, and I get your point, man. I know that you're not saying that, you know, this is gonna just shoot up or whatever, but it was an interesting find, man, that you found that fractal pattern. So I think a little shout out to my guy Craig. Yeah, and thank you for mentioning that, man. That's really interesting. That I didn't even know that you could go back to 2008. That's news to me. News to me, my guy. Okay, Professor. Thank you for that finding, man. Appreciate you, man, for yeah, if you guys ever have anything that you want me to look into or that you have found, just shoot me a DM, and then I'll do my best to show it on here and dissect the perspective, right? My guy Matt T, how you doing, bro? How you doing, my guy? You guys are awesome, by the way. Everybody in the chat, you're awesome, okay? And just for you right now, throw some elephants in the chat, okay? I know Amy's not doing so hot, but we need some fun. right, back to reality. Back to reality. All right, back to reality. Yeah, Tame Impala Elephant. That is the theme song for the run-ups, right? For Amy. Amy likes elephants, so we throw elephants in the chat for her. Yo. Yeah, it's just a fractal background. It's like an overlay that I use. I figure, it's a good way to just feel good about what's happening in the markets and with AMC and stuff. It's all about the setting, guys. It's all about the setting and just who you surround yourself with. All you beautiful people in the chat, you guys are awesome. Luke, it's possible, man. It's possible that we will hit like a Fibonacci level, right? A lot of the times, these institutions will do that for like specific code, as to like with other institutions and the retails that are basically aware of what's happening. It's happened already 3 times. Doesn't mean it's going to happen again. But I mean, it's something to look into, just because, I mean, sometimes history doesn't repeat itself. Sometimes it does. Just something to note is, if the narrative is pushed to an extreme to where a lot of people are aware of like where these prices are landing, sometimes these institutions take that as an opportunity to basically make things not happen in that direction or in that way based off of human behavior. So like I said, it all ties back into this whole like reverse psychology game in the end, guys, because it's a way they're able to make you second guess yourself. What up? What's up? What's up? My sexy elephants. Let's get it. Yes, history doesn't always repeat itself, but it often rhymes. That is, where did I hear that first? I heard that first on Astro's stream. And I actually, like, dude, when Astro said that, I was like, bro, this guy's a genius. Man, I had to clip that, bro. I clipped it, and I'm pretty sure I saved it somewhere. I don't remember what I called it. I think I called it Astro or something. Is that what I called it? Astro MP3 or whatever. I was gonna make like a remix or something of Astro, and I'm still like in the works for that. I don't know, man. Maybe he would appreciate that. Make a little Astro remix song or something. But dude, yeah, Astro said those words, man, and I was like, bro, that's just so beautiful in the way. Just like, here, let me see if I could play it. Where is it? Here we go.
History doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And furthermore, there's a lot of rhythm that is recognizable. Whether it's GameStop or AMC, I don't care. Okay, they behave the same. Whoever started this shit show didn't care. The same tactics in dividing and distributing of funds was used the same. Okay? You can attribute it to Elliott wave theory. You can attribute it to simple technicals. You can attribute it to they haven't covered yet. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, however, is that they look identical. The fact of the matter is that from the macro perspective, as each of these phases have changed and adapted to the one prior, they remain the same. You won't.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a quote. It's where I had heard it first was Astro, whatever Mark Twain quote. It's true, man. It's true. It really is, and it's good. It's a good way to apply it to the market and stocks. But yeah, Astro. I mean, Astro to me is a big inspiration in the sense that he was able to bring this whole cycle thing back to life with AMC, just because I hear a lot of people like on Twitter and stuff saying like, oh, like I've done algos forever now, and like you don't give me credit or whatever, and it's just like, dude, like that's not the point. The point is like AMC bringing that, like basically being able to bring that back to light and spread awareness on that. That's the point. The point is that us coming together to figure out what's happening is the point. It's not, yeah, obviously algos have always been a thing, but he's the guy who brought it to he's the guy who was able to basically bring this together and spread it out to where people are informed about what's happening, and he was able to do that. So my channel is very, very recent. I have not been on Astro stream. We like trade a bunch of DMs back and forth. Like he'll or not DMs. I'm sorry. We tweet back and forth. Like um he'll comment on some of my stuff. I comment on some of his stuff, and just like we kind of trade like those perspectives on and on Twitter. But yeah, I mean that dude is awesome, and like yeah, dude, like if it wasn't for him, I would not be pushing this out. I would not be pushing what it is that I'm doing right now out, because like I said, he was able to take that sort of faith and be able to share it with as many people as he could to try and get everybody together to to figure out what is happening in the markets, whether you have a specific way of approaching it, to be able to shed that light to everybody, to retail. That's the important part, and that's what he did. And now we're all kind of coming together trying to figure out what's happening, right? Whatever approach you have, guys, doesn't matter. Obviously concrete evidence and stuff like that, concrete evidence is good to have, right? You don't want to just push whatever, but if you're able to have something that helps you guys, and to where it's clear that there is manipulation happening in whatever form of way, that is good. That is good. Alrighty, guys, I'm going to take a little break here. I'm going to stop the stream, and I will come back closer to the end of the day here. So it's going to be about a 30-minute break, and then I'll be back at around 2. So you guys do what you got to do right now and just chill out, and I'll be back. But thank you very much for sticking along with the guy for a couple hours, alrighty? Love you, man.